Hello Anita, welcome to Let's Talk. Now, Inside Out, I was really interested when I heard about this. Tell us all about it. How did it begin?
Well, Inside Out started about 5 months ago. I was at a meeting with the Society of Authors, and we were talking about ways of connecting writers and readers. And I thought it would be a good idea to have it at a cafe where writers could come along, read their work. Inside Out formed from that. It's irrespective of identity or experience. Any writers can come along and read any type of work that they're working on.
As long as?
As long as they don't go past the 5-minute slot, because if they do, they risk running
Okay,
foul.
yes, then you get the squawk and told to sit down now because it's somebody else's turn.
That's
yes.
right.
So whereabouts are these evenings held?
They're held at 1-to-1 Cafe, which is 1-to-1 Ponsonby Road. It's a really convivial environment to have this.
It used to be another famous cafe, didn't it? I can't remember the name
Yes,
of it.
it was. It was the Atomic Cafe.
Right, yes.
And Chris Priestley is there, and it's a very arts-friendly cafe. It's a lovely place to go. People can have coffee, tea, something to eat from the kitchen, have a drink, and it's a great environment.
Can you get a glass of wine there?
You can get a glass of wine.
Oh, so it is
I can
quite a
vouch for that.
convivial evening there,
Yes, it is.
It reminds me a bit of the sort of thing one used to read about happening in Europe or whatever, where people went to salons and things. Do you have that sort of thing in mind, or is there some other concept that you have in mind?
I wanted to make it easy for people to get to this place, and people seem to know the 1-to-1 Cafe, or Ponsonby Road is fairly easy to get to and park around, and it seems to be a good fit.
And are you finding that people are just loving to have something that they can go to, which doesn't cost much money, presumably, and which doesn't involve them just sitting at home watching the box every night?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's true that people like reading stories. We all love stories and books, but something magic happens when you hear the writer reading their work. It's like someone's opened a window and light illuminates the work, and the words seem to dance a bit more when the actual writer is up there reading their work, whether it's a piece of novel, whether it's a poem, it could be a flash fiction, it could be some non-fiction, but there's something magic when the writer is reading it to you.
And about how many people get a chance to do their thing on an average evening?
Well, thanks to the foul, we managed to have about 10 open micers before our guest musician comes along, and then after the guest musician we keep going as long as necessary. It usually goes till about 10:30, 11.
Oh, right, yeah. So you could easily get a good 20 pieces of beautifully original stuff that people can enjoy. And
yes, that's right. Some people have come up twice too. After the musician, they'll say, look, I'd love to read this other piece. Is there time? Why not?
Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of writers are quite shy people, aren't they? They tend to sort of sit in their studies or their offices at home behind their screen and type away, and if anybody says read this in public, they go, oh! Yeah. Are you finding that, or are you finding that there's actually a hidden performer in lots of writers?
I think there is a hidden performer in lots of writers. I've found that novelists have not often had a lot of experience reading their work in public. They often have squirreled away in their room writing, but when they have read their work, they've said to me, it's interesting reading their dialogue. It helps them with their writing, and it also it's good to hear the dialogue spoken to get a full grasp of the story. It just seems to open, as I said, open a window on the work.
So have you ever done anything like this before?
No.
Yes.
Not at all, Lindsay.
Yes. So you just thought that there was a need for this sort of newness in Auckland society, did you? Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of writers in Auckland, and you can't have too many opportunities for writers to meet, to read their work, and have that chance to get feedback and get support with their work, with their writing.
And are you getting to the point now where the cafe's getting a bit full, so that if people want to come, they really need to sort of, do you book, or do you just turn up?
Well, some people do email and say, look, I'd like to come along and do open mic. When they do arrive, I have an open mic sheet at the door, and you put your name down. Everyone is treated equally. So you put your name down, and I call people up in that order. Now, the 1-to-1 cafe is well set up because it's got a large outdoor area as well, so we can take any number.
Okay. Now, this is just the beginning of something bigger too, isn't it? Because I understand you've got something planned for the Fringe Festival next year around the Auckland Festival.
That's right. Well, the Fringe Festival is from 16th of February to the 10th of March. And I thought, with writing and reading being such a popular pastime, let's have connecting writers and readers as part of a Fringe Festival program, up there with theatre and dance and music. And from that, Spit It Out developed. Spit It Out is simple and big at the same time. It's big because there are 60 writers who are connecting directly with the public during the Fringe Festival, and it's simple because it's just about storytelling. They're reading or performing their stories, their poems, directly with the public at places where it's easy to get to.
And so where are you planning, what sort of venues are you planning for that?
We've got 7 different venues. They're all very different venues. We've got the Auckland waterfront, we've got the bars of theatres, we've got cafes, we've got an arcade, we've got an arts centre in different parts of the city.
It's such fun. I mean, this is just going to grow and grow and grow, isn't it?
I think it might, because we've had nothing but positive feedback.
Yeah.
We've had people contacting us wanting to be part of it.
Yeah. And this is hugely generous of you too, because you're not earning a bean from any of this, are you? Yeah.
Well, no, it's something. Well, my colleague Miles Hughes, who was also at the Author Society, he and I are both the creative producers of this. We're enjoying it. We love words, we love reading, we like the writers. We just want to have more opportunities for writers and readers to connect.
And you're getting name writers coming along too, or are they mainly really
yes.
keen amateurs who want to sort of have their first foray in public?
Yes, we do have named writers and celebrated authors coming along as well. We've got a mix of rising voices and some of the biggest names in Auckland writing.
And so your next one is December the 7th, which isn't very far away.
Yes, our next Inside Out is December the 7th. It's on every second Wednesday of the month. It goes through the silly season as well. Why not?
Oh, fabulous, because there's often nothing to do in the middle of Auckland right through the silly season, isn't it?
Exactly, but this will be on in January and February, 16th of January as well, and in February. I encourage people to come along. They can read their work. If they haven't read before, don't worry. I help set up the microphone. Everyone is in the same boat, and you can come along as audience as well and just listen.
And what sort of stories are you hearing? You know, often New Zealanders tend to be writing fairly bleak things, or creativity in general has often traditionally been a bit bleak in New Zealand, hasn't it? The sort of darker stories. So are they getting that darkness, or is there humour and levity coming through as well?
It's an interesting point. Sometimes people do use writing as a bit of therapy to help them through difficult times. Other people are writing stories and interesting events that happened in their youth, or perhaps when they started out teaching, perhaps, or when they had their children. So when you get to middle years, you tend to look back. So the stories and the poems that come along to Inside Out are pretty much a range of stories about difficulties, perhaps the loss of a parent or a family member, and it's joyful things as well. It's humorous work. We're laughing quite a bit at Inside Out.
Laughing and crying a bit. There's so much that you could do with this. You could turn this into podcasts, you know, that people could download afterwards. There could be little videos up on YouTube. I mean, it could become a whole little gorgeous, juicy creativity empire, this, yeah.
I suspect it may well, Lindsay.
Yes, excellent stuff. And do you have any professional background that set you up for this, or are you just forging your way through as an enthusiastic newcomer?
Yes, I'm an enthusiastic newcomer. I reckon that's the best way to put it. But I've enjoyed meeting writers this year since I joined the Society of Authors. Lovely people, love their work, and I'm happy to help out to create opportunities for them to connect with the Auckland public.
Well, it sounds like lots of fun, and I mean, I know a lot of people have trouble even finding a cafe open at night around Auckland. A lot of them close at about 4 or something. So it's super to think that this is there, and that it's not just coffee and wine and snacks and things, that there's real heart-to-heart entertainment as well. Thank you so much, Anita. Good luck with it all.
Thank you very much, Lindsay.